Today, the Holy Spirit kind of dropped something in my spirit when I was watering plants. It's kind of weird, but I was watering these plants in this circle in front of my house, and there was a good deal of them that were very, I guess, bloomed, or they were in good shape and they were healthy. And there was this one that is just so dead. And the funny thing about it is that I've watered that plant before, and I usually water it twice as much as I water everything else. And so it's hard for me to understand why this one plant is just not, blooming as much as the other ones. I mean, why isn't it flourishing? Why isn't it growing? Why isn't it? And I realized that it has more to do with the position of the plant. And then God kind of dropped something in me that we can pray and we can pour into people. And sometimes we can pour into people twice as much into one person. But if they're not in a position to accept it, then they'll still be dead and they won't blossom and grow fruit. And I realized that sometimes I think we put too much power maybe in our own hands, as though I prayed, I did what I was supposed to do for this person, and why is this not impacting them? Because I think it's funny how every time I water that plant twice as much as I do everything else, and it's still dead every time. Is it because it gets more sun exposure? Is it just because I don't know why that plant doesn't grow? But I do know one thing. Every time I go back out there, I'm going to water it twice as much, because I want to see it flourish. Even if I see it continuously not flourishing, I still want to see it flourish. So I don't stop praying. I don't stop pouring the water onto it and giving it twice as much as I give everyone else, or all the other plants, So those plants, that don't require quite as much, I will continue to pour into them. But it's funny how you have to pour in a little, twice the effort, even if you're not getting the response and reaction that you think that you should. And I think it's funny how I'm praying, I guess, in that part of the analogy, that maybe there's someone in your life that you're praying for and continuously praying for more than other people, and it seems like you're not seeing a difference in that area of their life. But then you realize that if they're not in a position to hear, if they're not in a position in their life that they can be impacted by God in the way that you're praying for them for, all you can do is continue doing your part by pouring into them. You can't force, the water to be accepted and flushed in. I mean, the water is soaked up, so it's not unheard. It's not like they don't hear you. It's just they're not in a position in their life that they can hear, or they can fill up on the life that you're pouring into them. And so just because you're pouring life into someone doesn't mean they're going to accept it, and that can't be your fault. But it also means you can't stop doing it. You can't. Never stop. You're always going to pour twice as much because you want to see that person succeed. And that's why you're never going to stop.